Well, thank you for giving me this opportunity. It's been such a lovely way to revisit such a rich part of my ministry. Having been at Fourth 3 different times, I realized that over a third of my ordained ministry was spent at Fourth Church. And so it's really been a joy and kind of poignant to look back at the different chapters there. And one of the questions you had is what I'm most proud of from my time there. And I'm just proud that I could serve that church, period. And I think the overarching thing was that John Buchanan kind of gave me permission to do everything I could to open wide the church doors to everybody. And it was such a great integration of my background in public relations and communications. I'd spent 10 years doing that in hospital work. And then evangelism, which was really my call to ministry, was about evangelism, about reaching out and how do we pull people in and lead them to the holy. So it was just a wonderful mix. Especially when I was working with John, I had 9 consistent years of being able to think creatively with a great team about how we open the doors wide. One day I was working at my desk and Benita was the receptionist, and Benita was very good at, you know, reading people that came asking to see a pastor, because we all were busy upstairs. We had meetings and full calendars. She calls up and she says, Linda, there's someone here you need to see. I said, Benita, I'm on my way to a meeting, and can somebody, and she just said, Linda, I will tell him you're on your way down, which was her way of saying, this matters, come. And she could do that. I mean, that's a great thing. The whole team at Fourth is so tuned in to ministry. So I'm going, we're kind of rolling my eyes and running downstairs, and here's this very distinguished gentleman from Great Britain who was traveling and visiting, and he was desperate. And I took him back to a conference room, and I said, tell me what's wrong, So I can't tell a lot about it for confidentiality. No one would know who he was. He was only in town on business, staying at the Drake. And he'd had terrible news from home about his wife being unfaithful. And he decided he was going to walk into Lake Michigan and drown himself. Now, I know I'm a drama major, and you might think I'm fluffing this up for drama, but it was incredible. He was a very successful businessman, and but he was broken. He was completely broken. So why I'm telling this story is the time had come at Fourth Church where we had to lock all the doors except for 126 East Chestnut. It hadn't always been that way. So he went from imagine the Drake Hotel, he went from door to door to door to door. You think how many doors there are between the Drake Hotel and 126 East Chestnut. He said, I tried every door, and I said, I will try one more door. And if it doesn't open, I will go back to the lake. And it was the office door. And I can hardly tell the story even now. He just wept and talked, and I don't know how long the time went, but I gave him my phone numbers, my personal phone numbers, and I never saw him again. And then a couple of weeks later, a letter came, maybe a month later, a letter came from somewhere in England, this beautiful stationery with a very hefty check for Fourth Presbyterian Church, and a note that thanked me for saving his life, which is not how it happens, but and that he was working with his wife on staying together. Oh my gosh. So you see why I had to tell you that whole story, because here I had wanted to open the doors. And then here's a time when the doors had to be closed and locked for security. But he found the last door that would open. And John, of course, was an amazing person to work for and with. And I learned so much from watching him, his straightforwardness, his vision, his pushing for the best. And that freed me then to go on and become a senior pastor myself. It was like falling off a log after watching him for 9 years.
Yeah.
So that he had an enormous impact. And I would have to, of course, mention Deborah Kapp, because I never would have been at Fourth Church if Deborah hadn't, paved the way. These women who were so new, it was such a new experience, and they had so much more work to do to pave the way for the rest of us. And I don't ever want to lose sight of that. So her work there is the first, I don't know, she's absolutely the first, but she's remembered as the first full tilt associate pastor with a long career there. So she had a lot to do with shaping my ministry and I think she was the one who contacted me and said, we could use help at the senior center. Why don't you come work part-time? So, and then she showed me the ropes so generously. And, you learn from the best. She's so meticulous and beyond conscientious. So the thing I gained too in those years that I was working was it's such an affirming congregation. Congregations can be pretty difficult if you talk to a lot of clergy, and church work is hard, and there are a lot of dynamics and personalities. Also, the thing I never forget, and I sometimes think of if I'm awake in the middle of the night, is the power of corporate prayer.
Yeah.
The power of public prayer. And, the thing I miss most from ministry now that I'm retired is leading people in prayer, and so if I wake up in the middle of the night and I'm feeling anxious or restless, and I just imagine myself at the lectern at Fourth Church, and the feeling of people leaning in, again, that listening thing, listening for the next word of the prayer, and just the holy unity that can happen in that moment, and the incredible privilege and mystery of leading people in a prayer that the Spirit has given you the words for. And so that stays with me always in any church I've served. I'm just grateful. I have a very full heart anytime I think about Fourth.